Thanks for joining us on this week's edition of Cronkite Sports Live. On this day, Andrew, 54 years ago, Michael Jordan was born in New York City. On this day, 21 years ago, I was just 56 days away from being born in New York City. And now, Andrew, I'm not claiming we're the same person. I'm not claiming we even have similar levels of basketball skills, but there's some connection there.
You know, being an April baby myself, I think I'm seeing where you're coming from. Basketball stars born in February, sports anchors born in April, makes perfect sense, right? And you know, this day is also significant because on this day, as of 2 hours ago, ASU baseball has began their season. The skip Tracy Smith and his team are out at Phoenix Muni for opening day, hosting the Northwestern Wildcats. Now, action's already underway. The series was set for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but due to rain in the forecast, a doubleheader will be played today, with game three to be played either Saturday at noon or Sunday at noon, if weather is a factor in the end. Now, sorting it all out and giving us the weekend preview is Bobby Kraus, who stopped by Phoenix Muni this morning for first pitch.
Thanks, Andrew. This weekend, one of the few times that Arizona's weather will play a factor in Sun Devil athletics. With rain scheduled in the forecast, the Arizona State baseball team decided to schedule a doubleheader to open the 2017 season today against the Northwestern Wildcats. This year will be a year of turnover for ASU, with veterans such as Colby Woodmansey and David Greer departed to sign pro contracts, and even more this weekend, with junior center fielder Andrew Schaps suspended indefinitely for a violation of team standards, and infielders Jeremy McEwen and Jackson Williford dealing with nagging injuries. Head coach Tracy Smith does not seem too concerned, however, about the lack of experience, with freshmen such as Carter Aldretti and Sam Ferry ready to dive right in and get their college career started on the right foot. Junior Eli Lingos will be on the mound for Game 1 for the Sun Devils, followed by junior Ryan Hinkst in Game 2. First pitch is scheduled for 2 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Reporting from Phoenix Municipal Stadium, I'm Bobby Kraus. Back to you guys in the studio.
And here's another look. If you did plan to catch a game this weekend, again, a doubleheader today, and Game 3 ready for either Saturday or Sunday, depending on weather. Let's go ahead and bring you a score update as well. For Game 1 going on right now, Arizona State is leading 3-0 in the top of the 8th inning. Now, it's the off season for ASU football. The weather is getting warmer, and it's time to sit by the pool, and in my case, put on the best floral tie in the collection. Now, the offseason for ASU football, but for Todd Graham and in his world, the work never really stops. Spring practices are underway, and with new names like Alabama quarterback transfer Blake Barnett in town, the battle for the head of the offense begins right now.
Go back to 06, everywhere I've been, we've been a spread, no-huddle football team, and we've been an offense that scored a lot of points. We scored 33 points last year a game. That was the least we've scored since I've been here. And so we want to get that up there, you know, scoring 40-plus points a game. And our system will be designed for the players that are here.
I just wanted them guys to know that I was all in from the get-go, from when I transferred to being here now. So Nikhil Harry, Jalen Harvey, John, Ryan Jenkins, a lot of those guys, Kyle. I wanted them to know I was all in. Whenever y'all willing to work, ready to work, on the days that we have off, let's get it in. Because we're trying to be the best receiving corps, not only in the pack, but we want the best in the nation. So,
we train every day. We're conditioning and lifting 4 days a week. So, seeing these guys, how they work, going out and throwing with them, see how they run routes, how they catch. We have some tremendous talent, some tremendous skill sets, and, unlimited potential here. Not only at receivers, but running backs, our offensive line. I think we have some great competitors at defense as well. So I think the puzzle's starting to come together.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Last night, Arizona State knocked off presumptive #1 pick Markelle Fultz in Washington and Seattle, giving the Sun Devils their first winning streak of 2017. Now we welcome in hoops expert Troy Tauscher. Troy, how did that happen last night?
Well, I think the big key in ASU getting the sweep over Washington after last night's win was that they were able to shut down Markelle Fultz. Kind of. He had a total of 47 points between the two games, both of which ASU won, and Torian Graham, second leading scorer in the Pac-12, was just behind with 46. But beyond that, the Devils were able to limit their turnovers in both games. They shot better from three and better from the foul line. And all those factors together gave them 2 wins. Even though last night's game, an 83-81 win, was a little bit closer than they might have liked, they still got it done in the end.
So now they go across the state. They head over to Pullman and they have to take on that Washington State squad. It was a high-scoring game in Tempe. Who's the name to watch for the Cougars?
Well, the scary name is Josh Hawkinson, 6'10", big guy, had 31 points, and you can see his technique here. Ramon Villa and Trey Holder bump into each other. Doesn't look like much space, but Hawkinson with the skill to get the one-handed finish. And then here, Obino Oleka has to come out and defend in space, inside pass there. No one big enough on the ASU roster to stop Josh Hawkinson, and that's why he's so dangerous. He's big, he's able to move, but also the Sun Devils just can't make mistakes if they want to try to shut him down.
So we spend a lot of time talking about this ASU defense, but at a certain point it's a lost cause. They're the worst in the Pac-12, have been all season. What do they do on the offensive end? How do they break down the Cougars?
Well, the Washington State defense ran out the 1-2-2 zone against Arizona State, and that's a great defense because it's around low post teams without low post scoring and a lot of shooting. And you can see it at work here. A lot of communication, a lot of movement, and Torian Graham, they're trapped by two defenders. Once he gets to the back line, has to make the tough pass. And Malachi Flynn, great anticipation there, comes in, gets the swipe, and a turnover there for the Cougars. Now, the key for ASU to combat that, as you'll see here, is they have to play fast. Washington State sort of just meandering around here, can't really get anything done. These guys are all focused on the ball. They're not in formation, and Torian Graham, as you saw there, is running around, and he'll get this back cut route here in just a second. No one there to help as Flynn goes up for it, and that's really the key for ASU. They've got to play fast, and they've got to attack when there's opportunities before Washington State can really get coordinated. They only had 6 fast break points the first time these two teams played, and that's just not going to cut it. They've got to be able to move quickly and make quick decisions, and if they can do that and find a way to even contain Hawkinson just a little bit, I think they might have a shot to win this game, but it's going to take a lot.
All right, Troy, excellent insight as always. The win last night, ASU's 13th on the season, or just 6 more than ASU softball got in their opening weekend. Here was the best of the Sun Devils' perfect Kajikawa Classic.
1-1 offering, swung on, hit to left field. Chasing back, near the wall, it's out of here! Marissa Stankiewicz nails one over the left field wall. Sun Devils strike first. It's 2-0.
2 balls, 1 strike, 2 down in the inning. Devils looking to take the lead. Sabatini sets the pitch. That one driven into left field, going back, and it's off the wall. That'll give the Sun Devils a lead. Coming around, 2 runs. Brianna White scores. Nicole Chilson scores. A 2-run RBI double from Sachel Palacios, the senior.
First pitch, that one's jacked. Deep left center field, knocks off the scoreboard, a home run for Chelsea Gonzalez.
1-0 to Stankiewicz, that's well hit into right center, and it is gone. A 2-run home run breaks this game open for Marissa Stankiewicz.
The offering. That one's fouled off right into the press box, and our director makes the nice grab of his own. Wow, that was a highlight.
Thanks for joining us back in studio. We welcome in Chaz Frazier, our social media expert. Chaz, what was the best of the Twitterverse this week?
I'm going to take you guys out to the hardwood for this first one. Cody Justice doing some type of pelvis, I don't know, thrust thing. I was trying to do it in the mirror last night, but it just got awkward. Who did it better, him or Eddie House?
You know, I get what Cody Justice is going for. Similar play styles, the two of them, perimeter shooters in their days. But Eddie House, the all-time leading scorer, you just can't impersonate it like he does. He's in a whole nother threshold when it comes to Arizona State alumni. Maybe down the road if Cody Justice can hit a few more threes, but in the meantime, I think he's got to do his own thing.
You know, I'm not going to endorse either of those. That's pretty flagrant plagiarism. We talked about it last time.
Right.
That's Gary Payton's dance. You can't take it away from the glove.
Yeah, they did it better than I did last night. But anyway, now let's go to the hardwood. Now let's go to the hardwood again for ASU women's volleyball standout Cassidy Pickrell. She's sick of guys lying about their height, so she decided to expose them on Twitter with this tweet. If you tell me that you're 6'1 plus and I'm taller than you, I know that you're lying.
Andrew, what did you do?
I don't know, right? No, I was just gonna say I think this screams a Twitter date gone, or excuse me, a Tinder date rather,
that's
gone wrong. Someone clearly lied. For me, you know, I'm a good 5'10". I'll maybe give myself half an inch. For Gavin, height isn't really a problem for you.
I tell girls I'm shorter usually.
Really?
Exactly. That's the golden rule. Always go shorter, and then they'll praise you like, oh, you're a little taller. So
yeah, no, you want that boost. You set expectations low, and then you overachieve. And clearly, that hasn't happened with her dating life.
I'd use that strategy next time. For the record, I'm 5'7", guys.
Okay.
5'7".
Closing things out, let's go to the diamond for ASU baseball. Andrew Shaps tweeted this, a little friendly competition with his teammate Jackson Williford. If that picture right there got 100 or more likes, then he said he would shave his head. Sure enough, the tweet did. My question to you guys, though, is how many tweets is it going to take for you guys to have your head shaved for the next CSL show?
Oh my. I mean, based on my Twitter following, if I would have to take 2,000, because I don't know about you, Gavin. If I don't have hair, I don't have a job. It's pretty much as simple as that.
I kind of got a haircut today, and I'm liking it right now. You know, Chaz, I'd love to have a bald head. But just financially, I don't think it's feasible right now. Someone willing to come in, shave my head for free, let's add 500 to Andrew's total.
And it's not fair, though, because Shaps has the ASU baseball Twitter account on his side, which has, over 20,000 followers. So that was an easy bet lost.
Hey,
right
isn't Cronkite Sports Live slowly approaching that number? I think we're at maybe 600.
It would take 1,000 for me, but that's another competition for another day.
Hit us with a follow, and make sure to hit Chaz Frazier with the follow. You can follow him _ChazF, at _ChazF on Twitter. In the meantime, we take a look at ASU Lacrosse. We're not able to win their first game of the season, but they're a young team with a lot to learn in the road ahead, as Austin Burnett, our Lax reporter, explains.
Thanks, guys. The ASU Lacrosse team got off to a rough start to their season with a 6-5 loss against number 15 Florida State at home last Friday. But not all went bad for the Sun Devils. Sophomore Trevor Driscoll won every faceoff, and sophomore Jake Martins had a hat trick. Now ASU will travel to Atlanta, Georgia to take on the number 5 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets today, and then we'll travel up to Athens, Georgia to take on the Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow. This ASU team is loaded with a bunch of young talent, but they will have to mature quickly if they want to make a run at the MCLA Championship this year. In Tempe, I'm Austin Burnett, Cronkite Sports Live.
All right, thanks so much, Austin, coming from Lacrosse, and we now send it over to ASU women's basketball. We have Eliav Gabai, our lead basketball reporter, in studio. Eliav, it's just about the end of the year for ASU women's, and they take on Arizona 2 straight, 1 tonight in Tucson, 1 at home here in Tempe on Sunday. So I want to ask you, just first and foremost, what is a key matchup you're looking for in that series?
Well, I'm going to focus on the forward matchup between Sophie Brunner and Brittany Jones. Okay, they're both the leading scorers for their team, but I'm going to give Sophie Brunner the edge because she's averaging 51% from field goal range, while Jones is about 42% from 43% from field goal range, and it's not going to get easier for Jones going up against that ASU defense.
Brunner, no doubt, one of the best scorers on the team. Elsewhere, though, they've been spotty at times shooting on the court. Is that something that Arizona is going to key in on tonight and Sunday, and do they bring any other threat that ASU needs to be aware of?
Well, they're absolutely going to key on the spotty shooting for ASU. They're going to pack in the paint. I'm sure of it. They're going to take Quinn Dornstotter out as much as possible from the game, as well as Sophie Brunner, because they're both so good in the low block.
And, overall, we look at the opponents that ASU has faced this year, some of the best in the country in the Pac-12. Arizona, they're near the bottom of the conference, 3-11. This is a weekend that the Sun Devils should sweep, but what do they need to do to guarantee that?
Well, they have to limit the turnovers. They're averaging 15 turnovers a game, which isn't that bad compared to their opposition, who, when they're playing against them, averages 16 turnovers a game. But even though U of A is not a great team, 3-11 in conference play, they will capitalize on ASU's mistake. But in addition to that, they have to have crisp ball movement. ASU needs to get the ball rolling, some energy through the ball, so they can give some room for their bigs to get going in the low block. Brunner, Quinn Dornstotter, to really get it going.
All right, we'll have our eyes on that series. First tip tonight in Tucson for Game 1, 7 p.m. You can follow CronkiteSports.com for all of those updates. Eliav, goodbye. Thanks so much.
Zahid Valencia went just 1-18 in his first year of competitive wrestling. He's gotten better. After 3 California state titles, Zahid decided to join his brother Anthony as centerpieces of the best recruiting class in the country. In 2015, Valencia took a redshirt year to do normal college things like, qualify for the Olympics. Now the freshman has taken the college wrestling world by storm. The numbers to know: 33 wins, 22 by bonus points, 0 losses, and a number 2 ranking to boot. What's next? The national title? Olympic gold? How about the Pac-12 championships, where Valencia's run at perfection will continue February 26th?
Wow, good stuff there. He is an absolute beast on the wrestling mat. That'll bring us to our The Way It Is segment. It's time for Gavin and myself to test each other's ASU athletics knowledge. 3 questions apiece. In the end, whoever answers best, our producers will let us tell you the way it is. So, Gavin, I guess we'll go ahead and start with you asking me something.
Right,
what do you got?
I'm going to throw you a tough one, Andrew.
Okay.
ASU men's basketball struggling the vast majority of this year, 2 wins in a row. Where do you see them being seeded in the Pac-12 tournament?
You know, I'd love to say that they could take this momentum into the tournament, maybe be a 6-7 seed, but you look at the docket they have coming up, UCLA, Arizona. I know they're all games at home, so ASU could win, but you know, those are talented teams coming in, and ASU, I think, falls a little bit short, and they end up being a 9-10 seed, play someone in the middle of the pack first round come tournament time in Las Vegas. So let's go over to spring football for you, Gavin. Big-time quarterback competition already starting up right now. Who is your early favorite out of those candidates?
Well, the tone at their media day this past Wednesday was that it's going to be Manny Wilkins' job to lose. That being said, I think he does that. Blake Barnett comes in, the #1 pocket passer in the country, coming out of high school, transfer from Alabama, and now has Billy Napier. They're also from that Alabama program, so there's a level of comfort there that maybe those other guys simply don't have. I think Barnett's the most talented on top of that, so I'm going to give it to them. Arizona State softball, we said it's 7-0 the first weekend. When does that first loss happen for them?
Well, you know, there tends to be a general theme with ASU softball. They roll through their first home tournaments, but then they take on a big powerhouse team and they end up dropping that game. They take on number 17 Missouri in the weekend tournament this weekend. Next Friday, though, a week from today, they take on number 19 Texas A&M. I think that's the game they drop. I say they beat Missouri this weekend and you show what they have, but they fall short of Texas A&M. So I give them a week. All right, Gavin, over to you. ASU hockey. They're all finished up 10-19-3, the final record in their first Division I season. This is a tough one. What song would you use to describe their season?
I love this question, Andrew. I went through my entire Spotify playlist. I started off at Drake, started from the bottom, but then I pivoted to an older song, but one just as good. Hillary Duff's Why Not? And I think this really sums up the season for the Sun Devils. Head coach Greg Powers said why not and decided to go to the Division I level, and it's been nothing but positive for ASU. He embraced that mentality. Hillary says why not take a crazy chance? They did it. It's worked out for them.
You reached for that one. That's a good answer. Well done. Well played.
I appreciate it, Andrew.
Now we got what else do we have? We got something for me? We got some ASU baseball, I believe, pretty much.
Yeah, they got a doubleheader today, Andrew, and I wanted to see, do you think they can sweep it?
I think they can. You know, early in the season when, you know, players, you know, teams at least don't have all the kinks worked out, you try and look at the little details. And, you know, Northwestern driving through the night on a long bus trip here to Tempe, then having to play a doubleheader they weren't expecting to play. That's a lot to put on your team first series of the year. I think ASU will use the home field advantage to their advantage. I say they sweep today and they win Game 3 if it's not affected by weather, and we do have that one. So let's go ahead and wrap it up for you, Gavin. Washington State, again, for Arizona State coming up in basketball. We talked about Josh Hawkinson in that recent segment. He scores a lot of points. Will he score more points than ASU has 3-point attempts? They love to shoot beyond the arc.
Yeah, Troy gave us that breakdown earlier. Hawkinson scored 31 in Tempe. I think he gets a little bit less this time. The entire ASU defense focused on him. Simultaneously, the Sun Devils averaged 31 3-point attempts per game, so I think they just do get the over there.
All right. That wraps it up. May the best man win. We'll see what we get. Producers.
All right,
who gets to
two
speak?
in a row for Chapman.
Oh,
I
boy,
got it. They
Gavin.
switched up the picture on me.
Gavin.
All right.
Wow.
I'll take it.
It's the Hillary Duff reference.
Yeah, clearly. That's what's getting it done for me. So when I first got this position, and this is my first win, I wanted to take this time to talk about perseverance. It took me 3.5 years and 7 tries to get into this seat I'm in right now. At different points, I might have felt like I wasn't getting a fair shake, or even worse, that I wasn't living up to my own expectations. At those points in life, I wish I had known about the story of Torian Graham. Graham attended 5 high schools and 3 colleges before landing at ASU. He had to grow up with a dad who was in and out of his life and a mom who did her best to raise him while battling drug addiction. She passed away while Torian was still a teenager. Seeking that parental figure, Graham placed an enormous amount of trust in both Bobby Hurley and assistant coach Levi Watkins, committing to them both in Buffalo and again on the other side of the country in Tempe. The process going over 900 days without competitive basketball. In the heart of Pac-12 play, when Graham should probably just be getting into the swing of things, the sweet shooting senior is instead the second leading scorer in the conference. Graham's story showcases the power of the human spirit and reiterates the important lesson: never lose perspective and always be appreciative of what you have. And that's simply the way it is.
Week. Now this is a foul ball from Fadle Lua. Raynard Toft is a broadcaster in the press box, minding his own business, and he manages to make a catch. We'll try and highlight the ball right here. He has little to no time to react. Of course, he's looking down at the scorebook, doing whatever, but he looks up and makes it seem like he actually snagged it one-handed. So what an impressive play right there from Raynard.
You know, we're big-time advocates of disproving the stereotypes of broadcasters not being good athletes, something I personally couldn't do. Torian Graham driving baseline, the nifty up and under. Graham's such a good shooter, using that strength to draw the defense to him and then finishing flawlessly.
Plays like that leading to a big win for Arizona State up in Seattle. Top play time, it comes from this past weekend, ASU softball. This is second baseman Marissa Stankiewicz. She has an older brother, Drew Stankiewicz, who could mash in his day for ASU baseball. She hit 2 home runs in opening weekend, one against UC Riverside, one at night under the lights against Virginia, and that helped lead ASU to their perfect 7-0 start. They're back in action in just a little bit for the Littlewood Classic here in Tempe. So that wraps up the show. Well done. 1-1 now, so I'm coming after you next week for the way it is.
Ready for it.
Make sure of it. Still 3-0 now in the top of the 9th for ASU baseball. An update there again. Game 2 of the doubleheader coming up tonight. 6 o'clock is the first pitch scheduled for Game 2 of that series against Northwestern. That does it for us here at Cronkite Sports Live. Make sure to follow all ASU athletics on cronkitesports.com and as well through our social media channels. We're back in 2 weeks. Same time, same place, different people, and different stories. Andrew Chapman, Gavin Shaw, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week, 2 weeks from now. Peace.